بالي كنقول هذا دوز ليا ما تولي ليا باقي كندور.
Hello guys, let's do a November reading wrap up. So here are the physical copies I have of the books that I read this past November. I did read some more, but those are either on Audible or on my Kindle, so I will show those after I finish talking about these ones. First things first, we can start with these two books right here. This is the second and third book of the Once Upon a Broken Heart series by Stephanie Garber. She also has the Caraval series, which I read before this. Well, this is like a spin-off to the Caraval series. So Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, I feel like I enjoyed more than the Caraval trilogy. In total, I'd give the Caraval trilogy like 3 stars, and I'd give this 4 stars in total. So I think I'm actually gonna do a video simply going over the Caraval series and the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Once Upon a Broken Heart, I read that in October, and then I was able to finish these two in November. So I actually really enjoyed this series. I honestly just feel like because it's YA, that kind of has to be factored in here. I feel like I would love it even more if I was actually a young adult. I mean, I guess I kind of am a young adult. I am 24, but if I had read this when I was, say, 16, for instance, I feel like I would have loved it even more, because the girl in this is, I believe, 16 or 17, or 16 turning 17, and she can be a bit naive at times, and you can, as someone who's older, you kind of can look at it like it's annoying. But if I was that age, I probably would have been just as naive as her, and I would have been able to relate to her even more. So taking that into consideration, I won't bash that fact. I know a lot of people online, like in the Goodread comments, I always read the Goodread comments after I finish a book. A lot of people were hating on her because of this fact, but I think she just was young and naive and wanting romance, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, of these books, I feel like definitely Curse for True Love was better. I give this a 4.5 stars, and I give The Ballad of Never After 4 stars. The only reason I'm saying this one was a little bit better than this one is because sometimes I feel like her books, Stephanie Garber's books, can be slow to start. Like the first 50% kind of drags. It's not as fast paced, not as interesting. But then the last 50%, she really goes in with like crazy stuff happening. And then that makes the last 50% goes by quickly, and I'm like sucked into the book and I'm enjoying it a lot more. Whereas the first half, I'm kind of just like, okay. And then I'm just like, done. So that's the only reason why I feel like this one is better, because this one, I feel like the pacing throughout was good. Not even like this one, like with the 50% situation, this one is like good the entire way through. It's just great pacing the whole way through. I'm interested in it. It continues smoothly from this one. So it's like the ending, which is so fast paced here, it just jumps right into this one. And so this is like really good pacing throughout. It keeps me engaged. I love the romance factor, the yearning. It has really good yearning in it. Both of them have really good yearning. The love interest is Jax. He's like an infamous book boyfriend. So if you guys have heard of Jax, it's from this series. He's also in Caraval, but he doesn't get as much spotlight in Caraval, or he's like painted to be the villain in Caraval. He's painted to be like the second place lover, not first place. But in this one, he's first place lover, and you get to know him so much better. However, this book is also better. This last book is better than the second book because I get to know Jax so much better. Like with the other ones, I'm kind of unsure if Jax is actually in love with the girl, or is he just being a villain? Is he being sadistic? Is he being manipulative? Is he just trying to torture the girl, trying to use her for his own gain? Like, it's unsure in the second book. It's unsure in the first book. But then when we finally get to this third book, you truly get to see Jax for who he is. You get to see that, like, oh, like he has such a good like heart, I guess, or not that he has a good heart, but his backstory and the situations that have happened to him is what caused him to be the way that he is. And he is just a boy. Like the statement, we were just a girl. Jax is just a boy. He is just looking for love. He wants to love and be loved, and he's had a hard go of it his entire life, and that is what makes his tale so tragic. So we are totally rooting for him in A Curse for True Love. I'm not sure if I was rooting for him in The Ballad of Never After. I wasn't quite there yet until we get towards the end, where I'm just like, okay, like I'm seeing where you're coming with this, Jax. And then with this one, it's just like I'm totally rooting for Jax the whole time. Someone who was a love interest in the previous book, like in the first book and kind of the second book, he ends up actually turning into the villain in this book, and it is clear as day that he should not be with the main character. Like he just becomes an absolute terrible person, and I hate him so much in this book. And then Jax flips from being the enemy to being the lover. Like, oh my gosh, like everybody loves a good enemies to lover. This is the enemies to lovers goated YA right here. This is what you need, this enemies to lover. So will I recommend this series? Yes, absolutely, totally recommend these books, especially with my favorite of the series with 4 stars and 4.5 stars. So yeah, that's my review of this and what you're potentially getting into if you decide to read it. Come lay down, please. Thank you. Okay, guys, sorry for the delay. I'm actually gonna be like so transparent with you guys on this channel. I'm not even gonna fake the funk. I'm not gonna pretend like everything is perfect, because it's not. Like, my life is not perfect. Motherhood is not perfect. There are really hard things about it, and stuff like when I'm trying to make a video, he's gonna continually interrupt me. He's gonna randomly be crying. Like, this is motherhood, this is life, and I'm gonna keep it 100% real with you guys, so just bear with me. Next up, we have Layla by Colleen Hoover. Oh my gosh, this book was so annoying. Like, I literally like had to force myself, and I wasn't even reading it, the physical copy. I was listening to it on Audible. That's how annoying it was. I couldn't even just listen to it. I had to force myself. It took me 2 months, I think, to read this book. Look at how thin it is. Shuaib, I asked you to stop. That's the thing. I actually asked you to stop. I actually asked you to stop. Like, guys, I'm in my video phase. I'm so sorry. Like, this is just so difficult for me right now. Everything in my life is just so difficult right now. If you know, you know. You guys will not believe that I just did a whole synopsis on this book and I was not recording. So here we are. Take 2. Talking about Layla by Colleen Hoover. Hated this book. Hated. I give this book 2 stars. 2 solitary stars. Colleen, like, you just give people ammunition to talk crap about your books. Why do you do this to yourself? Like, it is a very problematic book, and it isn't even enjoyable to read. For one thing, we're in a man's POV. I do not want to be in a man's head. What makes you think I want to be in a man's head for all of these pages? Especially when the man is annoying and he's not good. He's not a good book boyfriend. The man is very problematic and self-centered, and I didn't want to be there. In his head, it just wasn't a happy place for me. It wasn't an enjoyable place to be. And I listened to this on Audible, and I had such a hard time getting through this book. It took me over 2 months to finish this book. Over 2 months. It's not that thick of a book. And if I was a girl who DNF'd, I would have DNF'd this book. If there was a book, it would have been this book. And I'm just not that girl. Like, I'm someone who feels like I have to commit. I just have to finish it. I have to see it through. Like, if I'm not gonna like a book, I have to have read all of the book to know for certain that I don't like this book, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with Layla. 2 stars. Like, I'm just gonna tell you guys why I feel like this book was so problematic, right? So the main character, Leeds is his name. A very, very dumb name. Leeds, right? He ends up like kidnapping his girlfriend. He chains his girlfriend to a bed, and he will not allow her to leave this house that he's in. Why? Because of a ghost that lives there. He wants to help the ghosts, and because of that, he's refusing to allow his girlfriend to leave because he likes to allow the ghost to possess his girlfriend's body against his girlfriend's will. That is the only way that he's able to interact with the ghost in person. In-person interaction is by allowing his girlfriend's body to be possessed by the ghost against her will. The girlfriend knows nothing about this. Nothing. And every day that they spend together in this cabin, he sits and waits. He's counting the seconds down for his girlfriend to go to sleep so that he can interact with this ghost. He doesn't want to interact with his girlfriend. No, he wants her to go to sleep as soon as possible. With his girlfriend during the day interacting with her, he's thinking about the ghost. He even tries to interact with the ghost while his girlfriend is awake by like typing on his phone and allowing the ghost to type back. But that's not even enough for him. That's not enough. No, he must have the ghost possess his girlfriend's body at night against her will. For days on end, this goes on. To the point where he develops a romantic relationship with the ghost in his girlfriend's body. They do things with the ghost in the body. Illegal. Jail. This calls into like consent issues, big time consent issues here. Chaining your girlfriend to the bed, a big no. Not allowing her to escape or leave so that you can help someone else. A ghost, not even a real human being, a ghost. Major no. Then to fall in love with the ghost and want to be with the ghost instead of your actual girlfriend, big no. Now there's actually a plot twist at the end of the book that's supposed to like make it all better. It's supposed to round it all out, make it like okay that he did what he did. But the reality is that he did not know the plot twist when he was doing these things. So it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't, because you didn't know that when you were chaining her to the bed. You didn't know that when you were using her body against her will without her knowing, allowing someone to possess her continuously, falling in love with a ghost inside of her body. You didn't know the plot twist then. So I'm sorry. Leeds is a no for me. He's a terrible boyfriend and a terrible person, actually. And so having to be in his POV for this entire book, it just wasn't a pleasant experience. And that is why it took me 2 months to read it. So, Colleen, it's going to be a no for me. This is going to be a no for me, Colleen. And I need you to do better. I don't know what goes on in your head to make you think that this is something that I should write. But it's not okay. So we're gonna say no to this. You know what? Actually, guys, like I feel like you guys need to read it just so that you know what I'm talking about. Just so that you know like the craziness that's going on here. I need you to read it. I'm actually gonna read the synopsis for you guys. So, love can haunt or heal. When Leeds meets Layla, he's convinced he'll spend the rest of his life with her until an unexpected attack leaves Layla fighting for her life. After weeks in the hospital, Layla recovers physically, but the emotional and mental scarring has altered the woman Leeds fell in love with. In order to put their relationship back on track, Leeds whisks Layla away to the bed and breakfast where they first met. Once they arrive, Layla's behavior takes a bizarre turn, and that's just one of the many inexplicable occurrences. Feeling distant from Layla, Leeds soon finds solace in Willow, another guest of the B&B with whom he forms a connection through their shared concerns. As his curiosity for Willow grows, his decision to help her find answers puts him in direct conflict with Layla's well-being. Leeds soon realizes he has to make a choice because he can't help both of them, but if he makes the wrong choice, it could be detrimental for all of them. So, yeah. I don't know. Think for yourselves. Do you want to read this book? And if you read it, or if you have read it, please let me hear your thoughts on it. Comment below what your thoughts are on this book, because frankly, I'm appalled. So now, moving on to our fourth book, which also somehow happens to be a Colleen Hoover book. And honestly, it's just because Kindle Unlimited and Audible have the books available for free. So that's kind of why I just listen to it, because Audible, like, they make you pay for every single book unless it's just like one of their free books from Kindle Unlimited. So that's why I ended up reading, or listening to rather, Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. And this is actually going to become a movie early in 2026, I think, like maybe May or something. So actually, I will say that I like this book. Okay, I just have to say I did like this book. This was a good book for me. Like, honestly, I feel like I could give it 5 stars, 4.5 stars. 5, you know, I'm in between. You know, it feels kind of wrong to give a Colleen Hoover book 5 stars in this day and age, but it was actually really good. Like, it was really sad. It broke my heart, honestly. So to give you guys like a little background, this is about a woman who went to jail for killing her boyfriend, and she didn't know she was pregnant at the time that she went to jail. But when she gets out of jail, her boyfriend's parents have custody of her daughter, and she just wants to see her daughter. And they don't want to let her see her daughter, and it is actually so sad. Like, we're pretty much in her head, her point of view for majority of it. There's also another guy who was her boyfriend's best friend. He lives in the town and actually is like a second parent, or a third parent rather, to her daughter. So he like hangs out with her daughter all the time. Like, he lives across the street from her daughter, so he's in her daughter's life heavy, and they end up forming a relationship because at first he didn't even know that it was the girl who murdered his best friend, and he started liking her. They started making out and that type of thing, and then he ended up realizing after the fact, like, oh crap, that's who you are. It becomes this big turmoil, like them trying to, I guess, go like deal with all the animosity that they built up for this murderer of their best friend, of their son. But she's just a girl. Like, she literally, it was an accident of how she murdered her boyfriend, and she's in so much pain over it. She's in so much pain over having lost him, and like, they just have a hard time becoming sympathetic towards her or hearing her side of the story. So I don't know, I recommend that you read it. Like, I feel like it kind of teaches you, like, everybody has a point of view, you know, and it's not always about your point of view. Your point of view isn't the only right point of view. Like, there isn't only one right way to look at things, and sometimes you kind of have to hear people out and give people a chance before completely cutting them off. And like, that's her daughter at the end of the day. Like, she's not a terrible person, she's not crazy, she's not like neglectful or she hasn't done any wrong by her daughter. Like, it was an accident, you know. She screwed up one time, she paid for it, she went to jail, and now she's back, and she doesn't even want to take her daughter away. She just wants to meet her. She just wants to see her daughter after 5 years, I think it is. And it's really so sad and like emotionally heart-wrenching. So yeah, I love emotional books. Like, anything that's gonna make me cry, I definitely teared up a few times with this book. So that's kind of why, like, if you can get my emotions going, you got me. So Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover, I would give this book 5 stars. I know, sounds crazy, but read it for yourself. The movie is about to come out. Read it and then go watch the movie, or listen to it on Audible and go watch the movie. So yeah, those were the 4 physical books that I read, but then I also have some that I did for Kindle Unlimited and also Audible. So let me show you guys those books. Okay, so we have here Crown of Midnight. Crown of Midnight is the second book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas. Throne of Glass is a very popular book series, especially on Book Talk right now. Like, everyone just says that this is like the best series ever, and getting to get into this deep fantasy world like for the first time is like a magical experience. So that's where I am right now. I am on book number 2, or I just finished book number 2, so now I have to start book number 3. And so far I will say that the series has been good. It has been a good series so far. I have enjoyed reading it. I would rate this book 4 stars. The book before it, the first book, Throne of Glass, I would rate that 4 stars too. So far I got 2 4-star books. These are solid books. I've also read ACOTAR by her. ACOTAR, I have I really did not like the first book of ACOTAR. I did not like the first book of ACOTAR. I peeped Tamlin and everything that was going on with him from the jump. I did not enjoy him as a love interest. But once we got into the second, third, fourth books, then I was really like, okay, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. This hasn't happened yet with Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass, I like the first book, I like the second book. I'm pretty sure there's like 7 books, so we're slowly working our way through. The next book I'm gonna read, I believe, is Assassin's Blade, which is actually a prequel, so we're like going back before going forward again, but that's just how she released them. So we're about to do Assassin's Blade next. This is actually my book club read, that's why I keep saying we're. Me and a couple of my friends, we have a little book club going, and Throne of Glass is what we're reading currently, the Throne of Glass series. So yeah, this was cool. 4 stars. Definitely recommend that you guys read Throne of Glass. I can't really like say too much. Like, it's deep fantasy, there's romance, there's 2 different romantic interests, so it's kind of like a love triangle situation going on, and I actually really enjoyed that. Like, I like both of them. So far, I like both of them as a love interest. I feel bad for both of them. I'm like, which one she's gonna choose? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I know some people don't like love triangles, but I actually love a good love triangle. Like, I love men fighting for the attention of a woman. Okay, like, I'm not even gonna hold you. I just feel like that's just the way life is supposed to be, personally, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I'm also kind of like, why choose? Like, I wouldn't be mad if she decided to, you know what, let me just be quiet. But like, yeah, I love this book. This is good so far. So we'll see as the series continue, and then eventually I'm gonna do like a thorough review of this book, of the books, the entire series. So we'll come back. We'll see if the series ends up becoming a 5-star read for me or not. This is YA, so nothing crazy is happening in here. So you can totally read this. It's not super spicy or anything. Like, it's just a lot of yearning, yearning looks, and like, actually the yearn is actually really good. It's actually really good. The tension, oh yeah. That's really good in these first 2 books that I've read so far. So yeah, so there's this, and then I also listened to Death Row by Frida McFadden, and no, it's a no for me. It was definitely a no for me. I'm not going to lie, I am not thoroughly impressed by Frida McFadden. I have read the Housemaid series. I think I gave it maybe 3.5 stars. I just found it to be a little bit predictable, and I think a lot of her writing is just predictable. I read another book by her. Oh, I can't think of the name of it right now, but that book actually did have a plot twist where I was just like, what? It was like a hotel. It was about like a motel. Man, I cannot think of it for the life of me, but I read that, I think, in the summertime. That was a decent book. This one is actually kind of like a novella. Like, it's not like a full thick book. I listened to it on Audible because it was for free, and I kind of like a good thriller, and this just confused me. Like, I didn't know what was going on the whole time, and then when we got to the end, it was still confusing. Like, the quote-unquote plot twist was just like confusing even more. So you never kind of get closure on it. You never fully understand what is going on, and honestly, it felt like a waste of time. Like, it probably was like an hour-long book, and it felt like a waste of time to me. So not for it. Sorry, Frida. Next, we have The Perfect Nanny by D.L. Fisher. This book was decent. I gave this a 4-star. This was free for Audible. It just was like a Amazon original book, so it was for free. And it was cool. It was cool. Like it kind of reminded me of The Housemaid a little bit in that sense, because it's like a nanny situation. But the plot twist I actually did not guess before it happened. So I love that. Anytime I'm reading a thriller, I don't want to guess the plot twist. If it is predictable, it's no longer enjoyable. Even for romance books, like any book, I just want to be surprised. I don't want to know what's about to happen. I don't want it to be redundant. Like, it's gonna bore me. So this book did not bore me. It was interesting. I listened to it and I enjoyed it. I listened to it like within a week, less than a week. So that's pretty good for me. That means like I wanted to get through it. So it was nice, decent pace. Actually, it did annoy me a lot in some different parts. Like the husband, oh my god, he was really triggering in this book for me. And then even the main character, like the stuff that she was doing or wasn't doing, like it was one of those where you're like get frustrated with the main character. Like, are you kidding me right now? How do you not see this? Or why are you doing this? Or like, this is not a good idea. Like, it was one of those. And I feel like that's kind of a sign of a good thriller or even a good movie, where you're sitting there thinking like, don't do that. Like, don't open that door. Don't hire that nanny. Like, that's kind of where I was with it. So love this. I gave this 4 stars. And that's actually it. So I did a total of 7 books. So we have these, and then I also have this one and the other one. See, my son just bent this just now. Terrible. Yeah, so a total of 7 books for November. That is my take on all of those books. And let me know if you've read any of those books and what your thoughts are on them. And what are your thoughts on Audible, like audiobooks? Like, do you like audiobooks? Are you a fan of audiobooks? As a reader, can that count as reading? I have to say, as a mother, I just don't have as much time to just sit and read, especially physical copies, which is why a lot of my books look like really good condition, even though I've read them, because I can't sit there and read them like this. Like, my son will jump on it. My son will like rip a page off. He'll like smear his sticky hands all over it. It's not good. Just having them out for 2 seconds led to this bend right here. Just to take this video, I had it out long enough for my son to come and do this to it. So that's a sign. That's me telling you that it's not gonna work. You have to adapt. You have to change. I was never an audiobook girl before becoming a mother. I never listened to audiobooks. I really felt like that was cheating. But the reality is, I love to read. I love books, and this is the only way that I can read now that I'm a mother. Like, when I have so many things to do while I'm washing dishes, I'm listening to my audiobook. If I have a moment to sit down while I'm eating or something, I will bring out my Kindle, because I can prop it up. It stays open. I don't need 2 hands. It stays open, easy for me to read from. Just click the next page. Even if I'm holding my son, I can then hold the Kindle in one hand and just click it and go through it. I don't know what it is about physical books, but like, my son will just attack this. I don't know. Like, if I need 2 hands to read, and even if I try to do something like this, like, I still need 1 hand to turn the pages. So yeah, that's what my life is looking like now. I have to do audiobooks and Kindle only. And then if I really like the book, I'll just buy the physical copy. Or now what I'm trying to do is I want to finish my physical TBR, so I will just read my physical TBR on my Kindle or on Audible. I will look to see what they have that I have physically already, and that's kind of where these books came from. I had this series already and I hadn't read it yet. I had this already, and that's why I was like, oh, let me listen to it. I already have it. This actually is the only one that I bought after reading it or listening to it on Audible. I didn't have this, and then I listened to it and I really enjoyed it, so then I went and bought it. Also, it's like such a nice cover. It's like smooth, shiny, and then it like stands out. It's so nice. Yeah, so now my current read is This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. I started reading it in November, but I did not finish it, so I'm not going to include it in the November wrap-up. I'm simply going to include it in the December wrap-up after I finish it. I read the first book sometime in the summer, so now I'm on the second book, and then hopefully I'll move on to the third book. So yeah, reading this on my Kindle right now. And that, I think, is going to conclude today's video. If you guys have any questions, any suggestions, like I said, let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts are on these books. And yeah, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.